So we're going to start recording. This is to officially start first public safety and transportation uh, committee meeting for the year 2024. Happy New Year to everyone. At this time, I would like everyone to introduce themselves as part of the roll call. Anyone could start.
Kathy Lavelle, committee member.
George State, board member, committee member. Happy New Year to everyone.
Same to you.
Monica McCain Brown, committee member. Happy New Year all.
Adele Bennett, committee member.
Good evening, Ayana. Happy New Year, everyone.
Hi, Misha Brown, guest.
Right, and I am Osley Lewis, Chair of the Public Safety and Transportation Board member, also Treasurer of CB17. I see some other folks have come on, so the other folks that came on, could you please introduce yourselves?
Hi, good evening. This is Leonie Logan, committee member.
Good evening. This is Kimberly Mormon, committee member. Good night, everyone.
See Judith Aarons, Desha Johnson.
Hello. Hi, my name is Disa Johnson.
Sir, okay. You are a
I usually attend the community affairs meeting at 67 Precinct.
okay, very well, very well.
Okay.
And I see Judith Aarons. Judith Aarons?
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Yeah, you just introduce yourself.
Oh, hi, I missed the first part of what you said. My name is Judith Aarons. I'm a member of the subcommittee, I guess. I'm a community member.
Oh, okay. Very well. Right. So now that we're here, I don't believe we have quorum. All of those who are invited to the meeting, there are minutes, but I doubt that we could have quorum to vote on the minutes. But it's just good to review them to see what was said in November, December. We did not have a meeting because of where the meeting fell in between the holiday week, and so we did not have a meeting at that. So as the chair of community boards 17 public safety and transportation committee, first I will talk about the public safety. There was a shooting on Clarendon Road between Schenectady and 48th Street. There's a laundromat there, and the owner of the laundromat was the one that was killed. People know him in the community as Money P. The laundromat is Money P's laundromat, and there was a very graphic video that was shown of that incident. It's a very sad thing because that gentleman, I believe, was somewhere about 38 or 39 years old. 4 men came in with masks, hoods. One gentleman aimed a gun at him. He rushed that gentleman, but the rest of them also had weapons, and that's so that was that was the beginning of December. That happened, December 1st. So that was a little sad to note. There has been also discussions from that same November meeting when I attended the 67 Council, that there has been a rise, in vehicle thefts as well as other robberies, during the time. In particular, people that are leaving their vehicles running and just trying to say they're running in for 2 minutes to do something, and as you come back, vehicle's gone. And it doesn't matter if you have the push button vehicles where you could have the key fob on you. Once the vehicle is on, all you have to do is mash the brake and pull it in drive, and you could drive. And once you don't turn the vehicle off, the vehicle will continue to drive. So, we just want people to be aware of their surroundings, number one. Do not leave your vehicle unattended. And there were also service recalls on 2 specific brand of vehicles, or 2 specific automakers, in particular Kia and Hyundai, right? So a lot of people may have heard about there's a call to go back to any one of the Hyundai dealers so they could update that security system, because there is a glitch in the system where somebody could use an application and it mimics your key fob. So you could literally open a door with it being locked from this, and then be able to tamper with the vehicle and start it and drive off. So that is a security issue with those vehicles, that if you do have a Kia or a Hyundai, you could go back to your dealer free of charge. It's an automatic update that they do. So tell anybody that you know has that, in particular. Hyundais and Kias are, have been, I would say, two of the most popular vehicles, right? Because of the cost and the access. So just pay attention to those things, and also to just pay attention to the different scams. People calling, people asking you for information. Right now they are actually sending emails. My mom got a phishing they call it a phishing email that had an actual Bank of America logo, and the only way you could tell it's off is because the information that they're asking, and then if you really look carefully at the logo, it's not the exact thing. It's just a little off, but not paying attention to it and believing that something is wrong with your account. You open it, and then it puts either a virus, or it puts something on your computer or your phone that could actually mirror or how you are inputting information to open that account and so forth. That's how they get your passwords and could access your stuff. So in particular, this is to tell folks who are not that tech savvy, who are now getting into using the technology, be very careful and mindful. And even the people who believe that they're so tech savvy, you could get caught also. So that's on the public safety aspect. For that time, I will now go into transportation. So if we see what's been going on in particular, we see that there's a lot of construction. I know, especially in the northern part of the district, which I would consider anywhere between Church Avenue to Clarkson, there have been a lot of rain catchment installations. And that's been going on since, I would say, about late summer into early, let's say early fall, they started, and they, a lot of construction. Please be mindful of that. They do have the right, once they put a sign on the street, they do have the right to move your car, and if they damage it or anything happen, there's not really any recourse for that, because they would say, well, you should have moved your car. So just be mindful of that. Pay attention to the signs. Sometimes the signs blow away, but if they're working in the area, they have the priority to do the work in the street. It was brought to my attention that DOT said that they are not into caring too much about parking in the street. The use of the street is for public transportation, and it's a public roadway. So they don't really pay attention to or really care about parking. So you have to be very mindful, especially with that construction. You have to be very careful about what's going on and pay attention. But those rain catchments, I believe, will do what hopefully minimize the flooding in specific areas. I am hoping that more attention would be paid down into the southern part of the district, especially around Farragut Road, Glenwood Road. Some of these areas have a lot of flooding with the past sort of rain, that in the amount of rain that we have incurred in the last year, and so hopefully they continue to move and finish or help all these other areas also. Another thing about transport, the transportation, which comes with the bike racks. Now, there was a meeting in the beginning of December. Monique Waterman, as well as the Deputy Commissioner Kevin, not Kevin Bry, his last name is Bry, was on it also, and we had a discussion about why it is that we need to have all these bike racks. They wanted to put a bike rack at PS 135, which is between Schenectady and 48th Street on Linden Boulevard, and we were community board as well as Assemblyman Waterman were totally against having it there. These bike racks, they wanted to put it on the sidewalk right next to the school, and we said no, we didn't have to put it. So I asked the question, is there a law or an ordinance or something that came out of, whether it's the city council, whether it's the mayor's office, that says that we have to have 31 bike racks in 1.1 miles? That's the metric that the bike rack people and city bike think. So Mr. Bry, who is Deputy Commissioner Bry, said that there is no law that states that. That is just what they calculated as part of what they would like to put in an area of that size. So then we told them, so I told them, so since it's not a law, then we don't need it. It's not a necessity. We have so many of them. There's actually a city bike rack about not even a full 2 blocks away on 49th Street and Church Avenue, which took away about, let's say, about 4 or 5 parking spots in an area which is a commercial and / residential district. So I told them, I said, why is there the necessity to put them so close? Oh, well, it's where we could put them. Okay. So they told us that they're not going to put any more. Lo and behold, I got an email in about 4 or 5 days ago, which I responded to. They are looking to put the bike rack now on the sidewalk on 51st and Linden. And I responded to them in the email. I said, I thought that we had agreed we don't need any more bike racks. We're already at about 29 or 30, and there's no necessity to have any more, right? I even told them, I said, where are the metrics on the usage of these bikes, right? The summertime has passed, so I told them, okay, those 3 months in the summer should give us a good idea as to how many people are actually using the bike. They told me that they don't do those calculations or look at the metrics until a year later. And by saying a year later, it's already there. There's no necessity to move. So it's a constant fight going back and forth. I know there was requests to remove the bike rack on Albany and Cortelyou, and they said that they will move it back from the corner because that corner you normally could make the right on the red light, but because the bike rack was so close to the corner, there was no more right turning lane. So what was happening is that people who are impatient to wait on the light would go around the vehicles into opposing traffic and thereby creating potential accident from people who would either be turning left from Albany onto Cortelyou, right? And it's almost like a blind, it is a blind corner if you decide to go in the opposite lane, not waiting for the traffic light and creating that. So I asked them if it could be removed. I told them, they told me, well, it wouldn't be removed. They will put it back 20 feet to accommodate for the right turning. So it's just a constant fight with these bike racks, but we are engaging them a little more often and more aggressively. And I think that is where we need to. I will continue, and we also would like, more feedback. If you believe that you don't want the bike racks there, we could try to set up petitions, get the neighbors to sign, get the folks to sign around the area. The more signatures, it would show that it's not just me per se in the community board that is speaking on behalf of the community board, but it will show actual people with signatures that support and want these bike racks to either be moved or completely taken out of the neighborhood. So the final thing for transportation, again, if folks don't know, there is the IBX, which is the Interborough Express. It's a new mode of transportation, which is like it's not like the air rail per se. I'm losing the exact term for that IBX, but there was several meetings about it. and I saw that they're actually starting to, they started the study, and now they're putting money towards, MTA is putting money towards the engineering. So they're actually starting to work with the architects and the engineers on actually designing what this new system would look like in the areas from Queens all the way coming through different neighborhoods, Ridgewood, etc., coming down through East Bronxville, East New York. I mean, coming into our neighborhood. Our neighborhood in particular would have 3 stops. That's the most important thing that we should be really concerned with. Flatbush Junction, non-Nostrand, Utica, and Farragut Road, and there's one other stop in our neighborhood in that same vicinity, and I think Avenue H, I believe, will be the next potential stop. So that's my report for both public safety and transportation. All right, I see some hands up. Mr. Tate, you first, and then Maisha.
Okay, yes, a couple of questions. One regarding the bikes, the bike lane on Cortelio and Albany. Did they give you a potential date for when they were going to move it?
So they did not. They just wanted us to respond on moving it, and they didn't give a potential date of when it would be moved. The DOT liaison, I will try to get back to see when they will move it.
Yeah, because that was one thing that I complained about from the beginning. That
Right.
not only is a dangerous turn, but it's a narrow street. I mean, it's two-way, and each side is very, very, very narrow. You know, so like by putting that bike lane over there, it's just about everyone is driving basically in 2 lanes, because they're driving so close to the middle, you know, due to the yellow line, because of those bike racks over there. And as you said, yes, making a turn from there is very, very dangerous. Okay. Also about the bike rack, is they've been putting 2 on a block for a while, because even Brooklyn Avenue, they have 2 on the same block. Okay. And then my question, if then when they said to you that, or whoever said it, that the streets are for public transportation, then that's if that comes from DOT, that means they're contradicting themselves. Because if maybe someone should have asked them, if it's for public transportation, why are they taking it up to put bike racks and those zip cars and all other cars? Because everywhere you drive now, you think you see an open space to see a sign saying share ride, zip car, or whatever they call themselves, all over the place. And then they don't even announce that that's coming there. You just look up and you see that little sign, small over there, that you could barely see it unless you're really looking to see, you know, if it's a legally parked area. So I think they are contradicting themselves, and we need to call them out on that. Because what it is, I think they're trying to stop the people from driving around here. That's my opinion.
Well, that is part of what they did say. They want it. Whether they say it outright or not, the attitude is to try to force people towards public right? That's what it is. So the bike lanes that they put in close to the subway and all these things, they are trying to push that agenda under the disguise of health and helping people to be more active and all these different things. But that is part of the agenda, yes. Aisha?
But that's no, I was just saying, just said, but also by day having what you call it, and if someone doesn't have a place to park, it will be more conducive to drive somewhere else. Because if I can't park in front of my house, I can't park in front of my house. I might as well drive to wherever I'm going instead of. Because what am I going to do? Double park and get a ticket? Yes, funny.
So that, yeah, well, that's part of it. So we will continue to combat them as much as we can. Aisha and then Judith Arendt.
Hi, it's Misha. Thank you.
Misha.
I was just going to say that I do think it's probably worthwhile to start some sort of petition so that they know that it's more than just a handful of people that want these bike racks removed. So I don't know how that's done or if there's a way it can be done digitally, but I think we should maybe try to figure out that so that they hear more voices. And then I also just wanted to remind you that we did send an email about the bike rack also on Cortelyou and East 34th, as well as the one on Brooklyn Ave and Beverly Road. So I want to make sure those don't get lost in the communication about having these removed.
Well, all of those were brought up, and you know what they are doing is telling me that they will look or be able to give us the data after a year of usage, which I just see that as a stall tactic.
Yeah, it is.
Right. To kind of.
So that's
So they're
fine.
not,
I don't think that they're going to do the work for us to give us
Right.
that information. I think we have to push them. So that's why I'm just suggesting a petition so that they hear more of our voices, because there may be more than just us on this call that don't want those bike racks. So that just helps our position.
Right. All right. So what I'll do, I will talk to the district manager about getting something official with CB17 on it, stating what it's for, how it's supposed to look, to make sure that it's officially recognized, because there's technicalities with some of these things, and if it's not worded correctly or it does not specify certain things, they could turn around and say, oh, it's not a proper document or whatever. So in
Okay.
coordination with the district manager, as well as possibly the borough president's office, we will get the right petition with the right information on it and provide it so that we could give to all the different areas where these are and have people sign it. And then we will forward it to them.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. So Miss Judith Aarons, your hand is up.
Yeah, I just had a quick note. I just wanted to mention that not a lot of people, women, I should say, in the Caribbean, I don't see a lot of them riding bicycles. So there is, I wanted, first of all, I'd be happy to sign on to that petition, but I'm wondering if of the people that sign the petition, if they could mention whether or not they are bike riders or they, because I think since you're saying that the push is to get people to use public transportation, to get away from cars, maybe we should also be including in the petition something to the effect that, you know, that would indicate that people, a lot of people in the community are not bike riders. They didn't grow up. I certainly never rode a bike. I don't know how to. So I'm not starting now at my age. So I don't know if it's worthwhile to include that information, but you know, maybe that's a stat that might help as well. And also, I just wanted to mention about the Zipcar parking. I saw on Farragut and East 40, or East 30 something, 37th or 38th, a van, a bus, a school bus had parked where the designated zip car was. So I don't know if that's really set in stone, because people are still people that are not zip cars are using those parking spaces. So, I don't know how do they enforce that if you, and can you still park in it? Those are my questions. That's it.
So the zip car, it's really at your own risk. At any point in time, the people from Zip could send around private wrecker to take your vehicle, and the challenge is now is to find out, if a private wrecker does take your vehicle, if you will know where to find it, right? It's not to say like they would leave information, or if you'll be able to get somebody in Zipcar. So I would tell folks, if you're not a Zipcar, don't risk it. There's a myriad of things that could be done, and none of them pleasant, besides a ticket. Okay, so people who choose to go there, they take a chance. The others who know and see shouldn't, and know that it's a Zipcar spot, and don't take the chance, because it could be any type of response, and none of them are positive. You have your vehicle there, and something happens to it.
May I say something on that?
Yeah.
Yes, I just want to let you know that no, you're not supposed to park in those areas, because they could give you a ticket. I personally have seen them giving ticket in Park Slope. They come, and if someone is parked there, they give them the ticket, because technically it's not a parking spot. So they will give you a ticket, even if Zipcar or whoever it is doesn't come and tow it away, you could still get a ticket in those spots. So be careful doing that. Oh yeah, one more thing. I think it was Misha who was talking about writing about removing the bike excuse me, rocks on Beverly and Brooklyn. Yes, another thing that maybe could be mentioned in that letter is that they have them in every block. They have one on Snyder, they have one on Tilden. So why do they need another one on Beverly Road and Brooklyn? Because I walk by there all the time, and I see them. I see the proximity. It's crazy, ridiculous that when you go around the corner, you see them on Cortelio Road too. So maybe if they were in any future or communication, if you haven't done so, I would recommend that you add the proximity from one to the other. And I don't think they're using them, because whenever I go over there, I see maybe one removed all along that space, no more than 2 or 3.
Right. So, to continuing, I know we have some visitors from 67th Precinct Community Council. I wasn't able to attend the meeting. I have some other obligations now, where a couple of my Thursdays for the next couple of months will be very busy. So I can't attend those meetings. But I would like if any of those folks who did attend the last meeting, which would have been last Thursday, if they would like to speak, it would be nice if they would like to give a little synopsis from that meeting, because we did not have Detective Skinner or Detective Pierre to come kind of report on that. So I will give somebody a chance to possibly.
Mr.
Yes.
Lewis,
Please meeting was canceled.
Huh?
I'm Mr. Lewis. This is Leonie Logan. I'm also the vice president with the 6-7 Precinct Community Council. We did not have a meeting in January. It was canceled due to the weather.
Oh,
So
okay.
the next meeting will be in February.
Okay.
Hopefully the weather will be better, and it will be the third Thursday as usual in the month.
Okay. Very
January's
well.
meeting was canceled.
Okay. Very well. All right. Very well. So that's good. I see Adele Bennett raised her hand. Adele, you could go ahead and speak. I'm just going to run and move my car for my neighbor. I'll be back in 2 minutes. But Adele, you could go ahead and speak on what any topic dealing with the public safety or the transportation.
Okay. With all Bennett. And my problem in my area, I'm quite sure it's Elvis, is these cars are blowing the red lights and causing multiple accidents everywhere. It's horrible. You can't drive down a street without a car zipping through a red light in front of you. I want to know what we can do as a committee to get together and kind of do something about this with the precincts. George? Can you hear me? Hello?
I think he said he had to.
We could hear
wait.
you.
Okay. Well, we used to speak about it, so we can speak among
No,
ourselves.
remember, he said he was going to move his car, remember?
Yeah. Well, we can still speak amongst it, he said. If anybody else has the same issue. These cars blowing the red lights, causing accidents right in front of you. I almost got hit in the past 2 days, 3 times.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
What about getting a speed bump?
It's in the middle of the
Somebody
intersection.
did that at around my mother's on my mother's street. They applied for and got, I think, 2 speed bumps because people were coming off of Atlantic Avenue turning onto her street and they were speeding, and it's a small side street really. So what one of the residents who was a member of the community board, he got permission, or he got somebody to DOT, I guess, to put in speed bumps, and that definitely slowed down the people going quickly.
Well, that would be very difficult because it's in the middle of the intersection itself. They blow through the red lights. This is what's going on. They're speeding, but through the red lights. And then, on Kings Highway where they have the on and off ramps, on and off areas, they don't know how to yield. They just put in front of you and try to hit you. That signage, they need better signage. They need to put stop, yield, wait. They don't know how to do it.
While we wait for him, Leonie, I have a quick question for you. That's part that we complain about in Glenwood and Albany by the bus stop. I want to verify, 'cause, as far as I could see, they have not done anything about it. Am I correct?
Say that again, George, about the spot on by the bus.
Yeah,
Not
by the bus stop, where
yeah,
if I was filled with water,
yeah,
I
wasn't. Well,
it's still right. Go ahead.
oh no, I saying yeah. I spoke with Miss Frazier after sending the pictures to her, and she said she would be in communication with them. I haven't heard anything from Mr. Lewis, so I don't know if anything has developed since then. But it is a never-ending problem, and they just have to get it done because it's pitched not well, and the drain is around the corner.
Yeah, because I brought that issue a couple of times between the transportation and sanitation, and to me, from what I see, it hasn't been done. I wasn't there this week,
Right.
but so I don't know if anything was done this week. But as of last week, nothing was done, and it was still and it's iced up.
Yeah, as far as I know, nothing's been done, and we've been complaining. You've been complaining. People have the pizza store, the store, the regular store. They've all been complaining. Yeah.
So what's happening with that? We brought it to the attention of transportation. They said that they are going to look into it. I'm going to reach back out to them again and find out when it could be fixed, because to my estimation, the way it looks as though there's something that is damaged underneath, or if it's not damaged underneath, something is like it's shifting, because the way that puddle is made up, and you could see the ridges in the ground close to the bus stop. I feel like there's something like it's shifting underneath there. So, I'm going to bring it back to the attention, because, like was said, and you all know, the bus stop is there, those stores are there, and it continues. There's no drainage there, and so I don't know if that is part of their plans to put another something like the rain catchment, or to check the infrastructure and the utilities under there to see if there's anything that is damaged. I'm not 100% sure. But
Well, I hope. Yes, Mr. Lewis, I hope something gets done before something happens to people, because the problem is our city is reactive instead of being proactive.
But that's all these agencies. The only way to react, even though when you tell them about it, you bring it to their attention, whoever deems it important, or whoever has the authority to actually do something, it's not until, God forbid, something happens and then there's a lawsuit, then everybody starts to rush.
Right.
But it doesn't help anybody at that time, because everybody pays for it.
Exactly.
Maybe I should have sued when I slipped and fell. I hurt myself.
Maybe you should have, George.
That maybe that, sad to say, but it seems as though that seems like the only thing that pushes anybody to do anything once there's a lawsuit and a lawyer looking for substantial settlement. It's sad, but we will continue to try to push and have them address these different issues as best as we can, and that's basically what we could do in the interest of our community. We could be the voice. It's not to say that we'll always get a response, but continuing to try to agitate and try to get a response hopefully after a while it falls on the right ears that are willing to help the situation based on what's happening. So I see the past chair of transportation, Dion Kwamina. Don't know if you would like to maybe say a couple words.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Thank you for the recognition, Chair Lewis. Just here to listen. It's been a while since I've been able to make a meeting, so I'm just taking notes and seeing what the state of things is now, and hopefully can be able to make some more meetings, be more active. So I'm glad everyone's doing well, and been listening to everything, and definitely in agreement along the same lines with the bike stuff that's been going on. That's been an ongoing issue that the community's been battling. So glad to see that nobody's letting up on that, and the community is still continuing to stand firm on where we stand and what they want. So thank you again for the recognition, Chair.
Right. Thank you. I hope everything is well and your family and everybody is okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I hope all's well for you.
Are there any other concerns I may have missed that anyone would like to bring up, whether it's public transportation or public safety? If not,
Yes.
yes.
I'm sorry. I don't want to hog the meeting, but another concern I have, and I'm not sure if it's transportation or what, but when they put on the sidewalk that they did supposedly for the disabled people to be able to go up the sidewalk a little easier. The way they did it, they did a bad job. That's what happened, and I've been noticing in a few places is that when they put what they call it, that asphalt around the drainage, the cover it so that all the water cannot from the street cannot go into the drain. So it leaves like a puddle on each side of the drain because it's higher than the drain. I think I may need to take some pictures when I walk and I see them because I've been seeing it a lot, especially with this rain that's coming. Yeah, the heavy rain, yeah, some of it goes in, but then some of it stays on the side. And in the winter, if that happens, it freezes up. So, like again, it's a little it's a public safety issue. But I'm not sure who was responsible for doing that. Was it transportation or was it the EP? So I don't know who actually did that job.
It's in conjunction with both of them because DP normally cleans the drains. I have seen DP trucks in different neighborhoods with people actually cleaning out the drains and cleaning the leaves and stuff like that. I think it is not as prevalent in our community. I don't know why, but it's something that I'll reach out to them to find out. For the actual roadway work, there is a program which they call Ramp Up, which is over $40 billion in sidewalk and concrete and all of that. And I don't know if some of the contractors who were hired to install, if all of them do the work in the same manner and stuff. Because if you are seeing that type of issue, then that means that the contractor who was hired to do that did not do it to the standard. And two, that means that the inspector who's supposed to be looking over that work, if there was an inspector, did not do his job. So that is something that once we get pictures, we could send back to the DOT liaison and find out when that could be fixed or when that could be remedied to make sure that that doesn't happen. And any other area where you see work that looks in a certain way, in particular with all of these newly ADA compliant sidewalks that go into the street and all of that, if you could take a picture, send us back an email. I'll put the email in the chat. It's pretty long, so it might be easier to copy and paste that email and put it in the chat. Please put it there so we could use that and have a visual to send back to the folks. In particular, the picture, the intersection, street intersection. That will be very helpful in us giving it back to the DOT liaison that we have to see how they will rectify that problem. I'm Miss Monica McCain Brown, and then Miss Johnson.
Okay. Mr. Lewis, and I don't know if this is possible, but going north on East 35th Street, when you get to Beverly and East 35th, I believe there needs to be at least another stop sign because you're unable to see the traffic that's coming, turning from Brooklyn onto Beverly and what's coming from the other direction. And picturing the position and traveling on it fairly frequently, I am suggesting if you can probably look into it, that maybe we do need more stop sign at that intersection. That's a Beverly and East 35th Street.
Beverly and East 35th.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
No problem. There is a four-way stop on
34th, I believe.
And Beverly, right?
Yes, I believe the four-way is there. Yes.
Okay. Well,
yes, that's correct.
Yes.
Well, yeah. I'm saying four-way, but it's a three-way stop.
Yes. Yeah, because 34th is one way. Correct.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
So, all right.
Thanks.
All right. So I'm gonna put that in a email and see if I get a response from our DOT liaison to see if that could be addressed and put another three-way stop.
Yes.
In the opposite direction on 35th going northbound.
Yes. Thank you.
No problem. I saw Miss Johnson before, but I think she put her hand down.
I didn't.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So I just have a comment, or I'm not sure. I live on Beverly, around by Veronica and Lot, where they have all these buildings that they're building. Being in my home, what I notice is ever since they started making all these buildings, it appears that when it rains heavily, I never had the flooding before, but for some reason, water is coming inside my bathroom and overflowing. So now I reached out to 311 to make a complaint about this to see if they could, like either clean the sewer or to see, because I'm thinking there's a backup on the outside. I don't know if anybody else is having that issue, but that is the issue I'm having. And I did not have that issue 10 years ago. It just started happening when they started building all these buildings.
So it's a possibility. I know that's just from my experience with in construction. There is a possibility that the sewage line and everything is too small for the capacity for this thing. Remember, the infrastructure in New York City, for the most part, that has not been updated, is over 100 years old. It was not equipped for all of this additional usage. So that is a great possibility that that utility sewage line that is underneath the ground is
Mhm.
being it's over filled in capacity.
So
And
is there any suggestion besides calling 311? They inform me if they say that they don't know where it come from, then they could put it on the homeowner. You know, the city come up with these tactics. But they closed the complaint, and I still don't understand what they did.
okay, so what I will do is that I will reach out to not just DOT, but now we have to get into
DEP?
environmental DP, and that now comes as part of the budget for the civil and capital works project. That's going to go underneath that. So I will have to get in contact with Chair McCabe
Okay.
to find out what is being done in terms of the infrastructure in our community based on that, because that falls in the purview of DP as well as transportation, and it's a capital works project to actually look. Because if you see throughout, you see that they put in brand new, I would
Buildings.
say, not buildings alone too, but in the street, gas lines.
They were doing that last summer. There's a building on the corner of Rogers, and then they're building two in the Sears parking lot. And I don't know where they coming with these buildings. Plus on Veronica.
Right.
Thank you.
So all right. So I will definitely reach out to Mr. McCabe on the capital works budget to find out if that concern has been put into the budget. I know there was discussion about that, not just by Veronica Place, but all of the buildings that's being built also, Glenwood, Farragut, from let's say Nostrand going all the way back to I would say Brooklyn Avenue. There's a lot of brand new area buildings in those areas too. 6, 4, 5-story buildings.
Right. Anybody else having any complaints about water?
We haven't heard anything as yet, but I'm sure there might be some issues also.
Okay, thank you.
Based on the additional usage from all of these new high-rise, buildings that are in the neighborhood. What I'd like you to do, Ms. Johnson, if you have the transmission from the 311 email, if you have a copy of that, send it. I'm gonna put the CB email.
Your email, right?
Yeah, the email, the CB
Have it.
email. I'm gonna put it in the chat.
Put it in there anyway. Yeah.
Right, and then we'll be able to make sure we get that information together to send it to the proper channels and try to see what could be done, because that's kind of difficult to deal with, knowing that you have a backflow of potential sewage and other places coming back.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. All right, so I see Maisha, and then let me see if I see any other hands. Maisha, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I have a complaint related not to public safety. It's actually related to sanitation. So I don't know if you can point me in the right direction in terms of who to contact for that.
I forget which night. Do you have a copy of the schedule for the sanitation chair? I forget which night he's
No.
on. I know my meeting is close to the last meeting of the month. What I could do, I put my email in the chat. If you want to forward your complaint or your request,
Mhm.
I'll get it to the sanitation chair.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Yeah,
Ms. Bennett,
may I
I see
say
you.
that hello? Yeah, no, sanitation is not meeting again because they're not meeting. They don't meet this month because it was a holiday, and next on February it's going to be another holiday, so they will not meet again until March. So you may want to send a complaint into the office rather than wait until March to send a complaint. Okay, and they meet on the third Monday of the month.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes, but I was saying who are not here was that we have a lot of cars running the red lights in this community, and that's a danger to the people and the children. They don't stop. I think they just keep on going. Standing red lights on intersections.
Do you have a specific intersection you're referring to where you have seen
Snyder, Kings Highway, Utica and Snyder, Utica Avenue D. They just blow through the red lights.
all right, because I would then have to reach out to Detective Pierre, Detective Skinner on speaking to the 67th Traffic Enforcement Division. There's a traffic enforcement division that that would, hopefully by request, kind of maybe patrol and see those specific intersections that you're referring to. So you say Kings Highway and
Snyder.
Snyder?
Yep. Oh yeah. And Utica and Avenue D, Utica and Snyder. Those blow right through those standing red lights.
So I'll bring that to the attention of Detective Skinner or Detective Pierre to reach out to traffic enforcement to see if they could at least have a roving presence to kind of gauge those areas and kind of look at the breaking of those red lights at those specific intersections you mentioned.
Yes. All right, thank you.
All right. So any old business? New business? I want to find out some of the thoughts of the folks on the congestion pricing toll that is happening in the city. It's discussion, even though it's not in our community, it will affect our community whether we believe it or not in terms of the congestion pricing, and I explain how. There are a lot of folks who drive in from Queens, Long Island, that drive into different parts of Brooklyn to get to a subway or to get to a place. Some of the people will normally drive maybe straight to the city or drive a little bit closer. So what will end up happening is that there is a possibility for this to affect us, especially around the areas that are closer to the subway or So I wanted to, maybe if not tonight have you guys think about it, because I know there were several lawsuits against it from several different organizations. The teachers union has a lawsuit. The New Jersey governor has a lawsuit. There's a lawsuit with folks in the immediate areas below. I think it's 56 or 58th Street that will be affected also. Those communities are suing, so again, I just want us to pay attention to that, because once it does happen, we will see an influx of people with vehicles stopping off in specific areas that are either veins to the train or close in proximity in those areas. You will see an influx of not being able to find parking and different things like that. So I think it's something that we should pay attention to. I know there was a couple public meetings to get a synopsis from people in the city in different areas, what they do feel about it. It's another measure for the MTA to, as the state, to gain income to balance the budget and all these things. And what I know, there was a report in about, I think, November or December last year, that for the first time, MTA does not have a deficit. Very first time. So I don't know if they were banking on the passing of that, the congestion pricing, as well as the additional federal infrastructure money that's coming in. If you do pay attention to your check, there is something like 38 cents that is part of the tax from the MTA. I found that out because I am actually, a contractor, and I was in a mentorship course with the EDC, and they actually show you on your the check, especially if you're working in New York City, there is a 38 cents of every check that goes into a fund for the MTA. So the next time you look at your check, pay attention to it and you will see it. So, that's something again. So again, the MTA is, one of the behemoths. I know a lot of our folks in particular, do work in the MTA in different capacities and so forth. So I am not here to knock the MTA. I am just looking out for our community and just wanting to get some feelers on how people, feel about that congestion pricing, because I think there may be another open community forum on it in the near future, but it's still in limbo, because although MTA and the board voted and passed it, we still have all these litigations and lawsuits that are potentially keeping it up from actually being implemented. I believe it was supposed to be implemented in either spring of this year, I believe. So, it's something to think about and pay attention. So if not, and no one else has any other thoughts or anything else to contribute to the meeting at this time, I would like someone to make a motion to adjourn.
1 second. Regarding the congestion pricing, when you said you want our thoughts, are you going to keep us posted? Is that going to be something that's on the agenda? I believe it's going to affect us regardless, and it probably already started to, either way, in commuting to work. Also with the parking.
Yes.
You know, especially in my area on Beverly, there's a train station. You know, it's so easy to get to, and it's already that way. With the new high-rise and all the buildings and stuff, we already see it. So definitely, you have a good point. I don't know how we could combat it, especially when they have something in their head. MTA is always in a deficit according to them, but they have more than one book, so they always saying something and they always raising the fare. I remember when the fare was $1 or less than $1. So yeah, it's definitely going to affect us all around, all across. It's just inflation altogether.
Right. So, you know, it's just something for us to pay attention to, not because we're not living in Manhattan. Don't think that you're unscathed. You know, so it's something to be mindful of and to pay attention to and to be a part of that process. So what I will do is find out when is the next one and try to make that announcement either in the general meeting, because my meeting is down to the end of the month. Make that in the general meeting so that folks could be a part of that. But I think it's very important to really be proactive in that and understanding all of the dynamics with that congestion pricing, how it will affect us.
And not only that, Brooklyn, it seems to be the next Manhattan because everything came across the bridge and it's becoming like Manhattan.
Right. That's ultimately true. That is ultimately true because, you know, we a lot of us knew downtown Brooklyn when downtown Brooklyn was what it was. And today you go down there, if you haven't been down there or you close your eyes and somebody takes the blindfold off your eyes and drop you in the middle there, a lot of people think they are in Manhattan. So that's very true. Very, very true. So, anyone else wants to comment on the congestion pricing? If not, I would like somebody to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
George State make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 8:49 p.m.
Leonie Logan seconding that motion.
So I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. And we did well right before 9 o'clock. So this is something I want to try to keep up. And thank you for all the folks that visited. We hope to see you again next month. And I am trying to work on a program or something for Black History Month, as well as for Women's History Month. I'm trying to get a special guest for Women's History Month. I'll look to get a guest for Black History Month. So I want people to come and really support that committee meeting at the end of the month, the fourth Thursday in February and the fourth Tuesday continuing in March. All right. So thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Night, everybody.
Good night.
Have a good night, everybody.